All right, today's game, USC versus the Oregon Ducks. Oregon Ducks win 24-17. It started out to be a game where both teams offensively were coming out wanting to establish sustained drives, looking to complete short passes, keep the offense moving, control the clock is what it appeared to be the game plan on both sides of the ball, offensively speaking. The Oregon Ducks offensively came out, and I think it was probably about until the first 4 or 5 minutes, Jonathan Stewart didn't have one carry during the game, and I think that the goal there was to kind of present an element of surprise to the Trojans, who was probably expecting Stewart to have runs right off the bat, because when teams can establish the run, it opens up their passing game. But what we found that the Oregon Ducks came out and did today is they came out, Dennis Dixon made some plays with his legs like he's been doing all season long. And some of the option plays where he kept the ball could have potentially gone to Jonathan Stewart, but they didn't, probably because of what Dennis Dixon read the defensive end doing, who generally is the option guy, or the end man on the line of scrimmage is generally the option guy in those types of situations, which allowed Dennis to keep the ball, run for a couple crucial first downs that allowed some drives to why the Oregon offense was not attacking the way they were in the beginning of the game once they got up to their 14-point lead. And the answer that I have for you is, I really don't know. But what I can tell you is that it's kind of a double-edged sword. When you're an offense and you have the lead, and you're trying to keep the clock moving, you're going to try to run the ball, you're going to try to keep everything in bounds to make the clock work, so now the opposing team has the clock to worry about as well as the score. Conversely, if you're ahead and you continue to try to attack and score, you could potentially be putting yourself in a position to turn the ball over, create momentum for the other team in doing so. And so it's a double-edged sword, like I said before. I don't have a clear-cut answer as to why the Oregon offense kind of went to a game plan of running, of slowing things down a little bit, not attacking as much as they did, but in the first half. However, I do believe that wanting to keep control of the clock, keep the clock running, and making USC worry about the clock as well as the score, which creates a whole other factor in terms of their play calling and how they're going to approach the rest. Oregon defense, for the second week in a row, came out and finished the game in the second half more so than in the first half. The defense played a good game in the first half. They played a great game in the second half. And that was evident. USC was not able to sustain drives. 2 drives that made it down to the Oregon red zone in the first half were stopped, one on 4th down, which was a great stand early in the game, which created a lot of momentum for the Oregon offense. The second one came in the second quarter where USC was just forced to kick a field goal from the Oregon 13-yard line. The rest of the game, the Oregon defense did a pretty good job putting pressure on Sanchez, making him feel a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket, utilizing the 4, 5-man pressures with varying coverages behind, mixing up the coverages. They did a wonderful job confusing the quarterback, making him pull down the ball many times, converting from his first to second to third option, making him run, flushing him out of the pocket. It was a very, very versatile game, and the coaching staff for the defense did a great job this week mixing up the calls, putting the players in position to make plays. And one of the things I noticed throughout the course of the game, because Oregon appeared to have played a lot of man coverage, was that when Sanchez went to throw balls to receivers, the Oregon defenders were right there. And if they weren't making the plays, then they were making the tackles and not allowing any other yards after the catch.